Hey everyone, thanks for tuning into this standard gameplay of the Rakdos Inti Midrange deck. This is going to be a little bit of a different style video as I'm using this for prep for my RCQ this coming weekend, and it's going to be more of a learning and figuring things out thing rather than somebody who knows the ins and outs of their deck and knows exactly what to do. So my sideboard plan is not solidified, my gameplay is going to be a little bit sloppy, but if you'd like to learn along with me and check out my thought process on this, enjoy the video. You could also find the deck list all together up here. I posted a different video about that so you can see what I'm playing and then pop back to these videos to see how I play it. Let's tune in. Hey everybody, Optimus Tom with more standard gameplay with the Rakdos Inti Midrange deck to prepare for my RCQ. So let's hop into another matchup here against Sekko? Sekko. Bad hand, mulligan. Decent hand, keep. We will put back one of our redundant cards. Yeah, instead of Archfiends, put back a redundant card. No, we'll put back Archfiend. We only have 2 mana. It's no guarantee that we draw another one. And we can name this on Vampire if we absolutely have to. So, boom. A Plains. Are we playing Convoke? Are we playing Esper? Are we playing Mono White Midrange? I'm going to play this one on Vampire since we have a bunch of them in our hand. And watch it come back to bite me. But we also don't have a red mana, so we can play Bloodtithe Harvester off of this. But we are going to play Deep Cavern Bat first. Show me your white cards. And get lost? Okay, I'm fine with that. We can just play Bloodtithe Harvester, get lost next turn. So we have double Sunfall, get lost, devious. Okay, so it is blue-white. Counter target spells, counter this way, exile it. So put it. Oh, this is a very good limited card. Let's not even give them the opportunity to get value out of their get lost. And give ourselves 4 maps in the process. Oh, nope. My gut instinct is actually to take the deduce so that they can't find themselves another land and then leave the get lost in their hand. I mean, like, we do this. They're going to get lost the Deep Cavern Bat anyway, get the deduce back, but then they don't get to do it end of turn, so it, like, time walks them once. Archfiend to the Dross is not what we want, actually, so we'll put that away. I was kind of hoping that we get a land off of that one. Okay, so now we just find ourselves a mountain. And they didn't actually use the get lost, so... more than one time walk. They found their land, and now they're just going to get lost? Nope, nothing. Doing it this way to entice them to use the get lost now, thinking that we don't have anything and that we were just bluff attacking. And now I want to play Bloodtithe Harvester to bait out a Sunfall on the thing that gets larger and then just follow it up with Preacher of the Schisms. If I leave this on top, what does that tell my opponent? Tells my opponent that I want to draw it even though I have 2 more in hand, so they're like maybe likely to wait on Sunfall if they draw a land, but they have double Sunfall, so they could probably just go like land, Bloodtithe Harvester, land, Sunfall the Bloodtithe Harvester, and then do it again to your Preacher of the Schism. Haha. So we know that they have a 4 mana counter spell. We don't know what this card is, but so I don't want to just, I want to map to find a land. I don't want to find lands anyway at this point. So Go for the Throat does not seem like it's great against their deck. Then we're just going to pass because we don't want to give them a ton of value off of their Sunfall by just playing a second Preacher, playing a Preacher of the Schism into it, even though we have multiple Preacher of the Schisms. We want to force their removal to be as bad as possible. Temporary Lockdown's pretty good here. That's a heck of a top deck. Get rid of this cut down. Liliana, like that. Let's go. Okay, wish we had some lands, but we'll go Liliana. Make disappear. Ooh. Good series of draws by our opponent. See? It was all the deduce. But now they have Devious Cover Up, which can... That spell is counted as by exile it instead, putting it into its owner's graveyard. You may shuffle up to 4 target cards from your graveyard into your library. So let's play an Inti, see if this eats a Devious Cover Up. And then we get to play a bat. Okay, so it does. And they shuffle a bunch of good cards back into their deck to Get Lost, a Deduce, and a... what was the other card that they shuffled back in? Deduce and whatever their last card was that they played. Well, I guess I'm hitting this one. Because they'll get back the Sunfall otherwise. And if they Sunfall Decavern Bat and get back Temporary Lockdown while we are Preacher the Schism, I'm okay with that. Oh, it was Make Disappear. That was the last card. I'm attacking into a Restless Anchorage again. Which I am okay with this time. Because if they activate, now they have a harder time. Now I know that like there's only one card that I can lose to here, which is a No More Lies. And I'm fine with putting my opponent on only having... Okay, well, it was the one card that they could have that I structured that play around, and they drew it for the turn. That is unlucky, as they say in the business. All right, well, now they can have one of 2 counter spells, and these Sunfalls will deal with Shieldred pretty well. I think I do want to play it though. Get in 2 damage, force them to use a Sunfall, and then I could potentially go Preacher, or Preacher. I don't want to play Preacher into second Sunfall. Double No More Lies. Couldn't play around that though. We haven't been drawing our lands to pay 3. Well, opponent doesn't actually attack with Restless Anchorage, so counter magic and the Devious Cover Up is what I'm thinking. Okay, they assume that is not devious enough. Man, I am not having as good of a time in these control matchups as I was as a Discover deck either. So Golgari and Control might be slightly worse with these. Okay, so they use Sunfall on that. That's fine. They have a 1/1. Archfiend can end the game in 2 turns. I'm going to play Preacher again. I can activate this, but it doesn't do anything. Okay, cool. Archfiend can end the game in 2 turns, so I want them to Sunfall this one. This, if they pass and don't do anything, this kind of screams Wandering Emperor to me, which I don't like. But we'll find out. This at least gives me the draw card trigger, even if it does get Wandering Emperor. Yep. And I could just find Bitter Triumph, and then I go Blood Tithe Harvest or Bitter Triumph, right? That's fine.
Almost sad to see.
All right, well, not how I drew it up. But now we play Blood Tithe Harvester. They could find this Sunfall worthy. They have no white mana. So I'm doing this now to find something to remove the Wandering Emperor, which will probably force Sunfall. Okay, well, they don't. Now they Field of Ruin my Restless Vent, so I don't have a creature land to attack them with. This is fine. I'm probably just finding Swamp. I'm definitely finding Swamp because I have no more mountains in my deck. Alright, they get a 1-1. They get a 2-2. It's fine.
We've got to
They
edge
attack.
this fight.
That doesn't have Vigilance. They didn't even map. So is this just... Ooh, get lost. Okay. That's gross. Well, now we have to play Archfiend and have it get Sunfalled. We can at the very least set ourselves up to find something. I thought it was another get lost for a second. Bitter Triumph to remove Wandering Emperor seems okay. Because let's see here, what's their turn? Their turn is attack. We block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for Sunfall. They draw a card. Sunfall, draw a card. Make a dude post combat. So yeah, I'll keep the Bitter Triumph on top. So I can just untap, kill Wandering Emperor, and then they have an Incubate token and a land. And Sheoldred's really good for us. Another Archfiend's really good for us. They make a token, and then they pass the turn. Or I guess they could explore onto it if they want to. Something like Quick Study or Memory Deluge on top of their library is very bad for us. A Ganjo. So they're tapped out. We'll do this. We take 3, and it's their turn. That Field of Ruin was really solid because now they don't have to hold back on attacking. They can just slam into us, and we can't really respond. They have 4 cards in hand. We have 0. It's not a good spot for us, but I felt confident in our sideboard plan. The last blue-white matchup, I'm going to assume it's still good. Tapping 6? 7? Are they playing like a Hullbreaker Horror or something? Invasion of New Phyrexia. That's not something I had on my radar whatsoever. But I guess it works. And we're just going to die. So we'll go to game 2. Cool that we got to see Invasion of New Phyrexia from them, which means that we definitely want to put these in. Sure, this kills their creatures, but we're not worried about tokens. We want to put these in, that in, and maybe Aclazotz. If we put in Aclazotz, what does our game plan look like? So we've taken out the cut down, so we still need 3 cuts. Go for the Throat, doesn't do. We still need 6 cuts. Go for the Throat, doesn't do anything. Tenacious Underdog, I want to keep that one. Preacher of the Schism, really good card. Liliana Veil, whatever. Are we being less aggressive? If we are being less aggressive, we cut down on the Archfiends. Because they're bored. Right, let's try this. Let's go no Preacher of the Schism. No. Oh, sorry, not Preacher. No Geological Appraiser. No Archfiends. Play low to the ground. This does still get kind of destroyed by temporary lockdown, but we have Extract the Truths for that. And then our top end isn't necessarily there anymore. We have Sheoldred's instead. It might be correct actually to, because I want to play like the card advantage game. I want to see what happens if we're playing Disruption, all of our card advantage spells. So Intis, Gixes, and then Sheoldred as our top end threat against their draw card deck. This is a very keepable hand, so that we shall. Downside is we can't Duress on turn 1 and Bloodtide Harvester on turn 2 unless we draw. Oh, we can't. Sorry, we have Blackleaf Cliffs. I kept thinking this was something different. So even though it's not always the best, I am going to duress on turn 1, just to see what they are playing with. So there's a No More Lies, a Memory Deluge, and a Sunfall. I'm going to take this as the tempo play. We can just go Blood Tithe Harvester into Preacher the Schism. That's our turn 3. On their turn 4, they've taken 3, 8 damage, and then another 5. So we can potentially race this if we just draw one more creature. Liliana is also really good here, because now we can go Preacher and then follow up with Liliana and kind of, Extract the Truth would be good if it could get rid of spells, which it cannot. So Aganjo is online. Okay, these Extract the Truths are looking a little bit more awkward. So Aganjo is online, which means they can get rid of my Preacher of the Schism, but I will be able to draw a card, which is something that we may need to do in the face of this Sunfall. So give my opponent a Aganjo value. We're fine with that. Ooh, it's exactly what we needed. So let's go land for turn, Deep Cavern Bat, and then we'll see if we can also Extract the Truth away a Planeswalker. Nope, that's fine. And now end of turn, I can probably discard one of these and then cast one. Okay, well, yeah, they have one card in hand. Cast one next turn to make sure this is not a Wandering Emperor. And if they use Devious Cover Up on it and shuffle back in No More Lies and Aganjo, I'm fine with that. I would like to see if you have a Wandering Emperor in your hand. This could also just be bad because they have nothing and they say, okay. No Wandering Emperor. Cool. We are greenlit to attack. And now this could potentially get Devious covered up. I'm fine with that because we got 2 cards that we want to resolve anyway. I think they just Memory Deluge here, though. I think they Memory Deluge and find a... Oh, okay. I was thinking that they get a little greedy. They Memory Deluge and find a board wipe to go with their 5th land. In which case, that doesn't really matter anymore. The Tenacious Underdog doesn't matter anymore. Because now I get to do this. It's very possible that they drew another counterspell. I keep attacking into these Restless Anchorages. This now forces me to do this. Get rid of their land. They can still Sunfall. I'm okay with this now because I have Shieldred, so I'll hardcast Shieldred. I can't believe that I keep attacking into these. And then hopefully this is enough. This is very bold. They can flip over the Incubate token and have a chump blocker. But if I have a removal spell, they die. But they probably think that I don't have any of my removal spells anymore, which is true. I don't have cut downs anymore, or Go for the Throat. Go for the Throat doesn't kill that anyway, though. All right. Opponent, you need to have a board wipe. Cool. All right, so I need to stop attacking my bats into Restless Anchorage. I need to stop attacking with bat against blue-white control, thinking that it's a free damage spell. So what did we see from them there? We saw nothing super new, right? I didn't see any sideboard cards from them. Nothing. We did see that the extract the truths weren't as good. They could have sideboarded out their temporary lockdowns, but now that they're on the play, they may just wind up keeping them in. So I don't think I'm changing that. Gix's command doesn't do anything against control decks. Cruelty of Gix can get something of mine back, but I've cut my top end. Yeah, I don't think I'm really changing anything. I think on the draw, I'm hoping that I have another hand that curves like discard into discard. Really need my opponents to stop having multiples of cards in their hand. Okay. So this is like our card advantage thing, right? This is what we want to do. Discard spell, card advantage, and then Preachers, both threat and card advantage. So, excuse me. This is a solid 7 to keep. Oh, second discard spell definitely means that we duress on turn 1. Well, they have Wandering Emperor, Sunfall, and plenty of planes. So they played their tap land. They have no counter magic right now. I, however, am going to play Inti this turn. And then duress before attacks. Double Sunfall. Okay, so let's play let's not play anything. Let's attack. Let's discard our Sulphurous Spring. That's fine. We don't need Redundant Inti. And then we'll play this on Vampire. And now we don't have to worry about a counter spell, but we do have to worry about this Sunfall that's coming up. So let's attack. Let's discard Blood Tithe Harvester. Let's play the spell that's not in our hand. And then they go board wipe, and we play Preacher the Schism. And then we could follow it up with an Inti if we really want to. Being stuck on 3 lands, though, means that if they have anything, which they should because they've been drawing a lot of cards, we are dead. So they have Restless Anchorage, which they can activate to block, but I want to draw cards, and they can't trade. I mean, they can trade if they double block. But I have second Preacher of the Schism, so cool. We will play our Sulphurous Springs and an Inti. The post-combat Inti. Okay, so there is a No More Lies, which is fine. I didn't really want to discard any of the cards in my hand. I wanted to try to get up to mana for Aclazotz. I don't want to discard Aclazotz, and if they are able to remove my Preacher, I want to be able to play another Preacher. I'm just mostly looking for land at this point. If they fire up the Restless Anchorage, I am going to Bitter Triumph it. But yeah, they will not. Alrighty. Unfortunately, this is not a vampire. It's a bat god, so it is not uncounterable. Shieldred's also really good here. We bash for 2. And now, what is the card that I do not care about? That would be this Preacher, the Schism. it is also the only card in our hand that can be uncounterable. But they might have Get Lost, they might have any number of things, right? And this is also presenting, I draw 2 every turn, which is what I wanted to be doing. I wanted to be putting that card advantage to work. Deduce is pretty bad here. Being able to draw cards is pretty bad for us. Drawing another, okay, so they're like digging for outs. They still have enough mana to activate the Restless Anchorage, and this does still say Wandering Emperor to me, but now I'm okay with, I think, using this Bitter Triumph on their blocker. Are they going to counterspell this? They counterspell. All right. Sunfile does exile, but this now makes it so that I don't get Wandering Emperor. So we can overcommit to the enemy's board wipe, which is fine because we have 2 really solid follow-up plays. So let's Preacher the Schism. And then my gut instinct is to Liliana discard Akalazots. But maybe they just counterspell Liliana. That's fine. And unless they top deck a board wipe, opponent is looking pretty dead. They have 2 Restless Anchorages to activate. Okay, so they're actually going to attack and then map to see if they are dead or not, I guess. Ooh, the exact card that they need. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. Playing the bat means that they just get whatever card I discard from them back. We're going to... Does this... So if I attack with everything, they have to chump block. But then I go down to 6, and they only have 4 damage here. Okay, that's fine. Oh, Wandering Emperor.
Run away. You'll be safe.
Maybe I should have played the Deep Cavern Bat then?
You are not much of a roadblock.
So I play land. This puts us at 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. So then I can double spell next turn. But now we're the one with 4 cards in hand, and opponent's going to be at 3 life. They can only activate once now. They can't explore. So I go to 3.
Show them how we greet our enemies.
And so opponent can't flip this. This will give first strike. That could potentially go up to 4. This puts them at 1. They have removal spell. So I think what I do is I go bat. To have a flying blocker. Shieldred to put them to 1. And then if they don't have a removal spell, they just die. They do have a removal spell on my bat. I just die. But this tells me that they don't have a removal spell for my bat.
Strike fast and strike hard.
Do they have a knockout blow? A Ganjo. Okay, so they can kill my Shieldred, so they're still alive. They have 2 flying blockers, though. They're attacking. Disdainful Stroke. Shieldred off the top would be ideal, but I think I've already used 2. Yeah, so the likelihood of having Shieldred off the top is very low. This is close. I might have played this incorrectly, but
Remember your
let's see.
training.
Does this make a land card create a bat with flying? Let's see. They play their land. Alright, so we have a Preacher of the Schism. So what do we have to do? So they have to block, which gains us 4 life. This will go up to 7, so we'll be Xaxes dead. We live. Oh, and we get a bat off of this. All right, so I think we actually have to kill Wandering Emperor now. Because otherwise it's just going to kill our Aclazotz. So now they have to block. They will kill our Aclazotz and go to 3, but if they attack, we have lethal. Alright. Oh, good game. Okay. I will probably have to review the footage from that game or something at some point to see where I may have messed up that made that such a close game. Triple Sunfall is annoying. Maybe the turn where I attack and with the triple Preacher and give them a Ganjo, or attack in the early game, give them a Ganjo value. Maybe that's not the play. Maybe there was a turn I could have held back on my aggression a little bit, but putting them in top deck mode as a Rakdos deck, especially one that is a little bit more aggressive, is like all you can do. And then if they draw out of it perfectly, I don't know how you actually fix that. Because we had basically everything that we could have asked for, and these restless anchorages, man, they're just getting me every single time, and in that case almost killed me outright. So there may be potential something that we need to consider for the matchup, like the removal is the only thing we really have, like the instant speed removal. Like this, I don't think this mana base can afford to put Field of Ruins in unless you are cutting your Cavern of Souls, which just makes your Control and Esper matchups feel even worse, because now you're putting in land destruction for their restless anchorages when you would rather just be making an uncounterable Shieldred or something like that. So I think this is just a case of I need to learn the matchup a little bit more from the side of the more aggressive Rakdos deck as opposed to the Discover deck, which is content to just kind of sit there, trade resources, and you get value out of your Discover cards. Geological Appraiser might still be something to keep in then, but the Aclazotz there was pretty solid because it presented they're discarding lands because that's what they have in their deck because they're a control deck. So now we have flying blockers for their Restless Anchorage, and maybe that's just the way we have to play it. But that was another match here for the Rakdos Inti Midrange deck. If you like what you see, make sure to tap that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next match. Bye-bye.